As far as Zach Wilson is concerned, he played okay. Was he as good as he was with Kansas City? No. He threw an interception to Garrett Wilson. It was in Garrett Wilson's hands. He fumbled the ball. He was tugged on. That was a penalty. Patrick Surtain was holding on Garrett Wilson, but it wasn't called. I don't know what it is with the NFL. Why aren't they calling holding calls against any of the teams the Jets are playing? Quinn Williams was thrown around. How many times have we seen Johnson being held? How many times do we have to see it before these referees open up their eyes and call something? I understand they want the game to go on, but you're doing it against the Jets. If you're doing it against the Jets, you have to do it to the Denver Broncos. I understand they're in Denver. I understand they have home field advantage. So the Jets had home field advantage against Kansas City. Why weren't they getting the calls? Because you don't like the Jets? You're not going to give them the calls? It is ridiculous. The referees kept the Broncos in the game, especially in the first half. After Breece Hall had the 72-yard run, and he had 177 yards, he was fantastic, dominated the line of scrimmage. They could not stop him. They couldn't stop him last year before he tore his ACL either. When you look at the big picture of the New York Jets, if they can figure out how to be an all-around team, if Zach Wilson could just be efficient like Brock Purdy, they can win a lot of games this year, even with Zach Wilson. This defense, this red zone defense is the best in football by a long shot. This defense has given up no touchdowns in the red zone in 5 weeks. The Jets defense is for real. They didn't even have DJ Reed because of concussion protocol. They haven't had Lawson all season long, really. He's played one game. Yeah. The guy is still not healthy. If they play the way they did against the Broncos, against the good teams, if they can beat Philadelphia on Sunday, they're going to go into their bye week 3-3. What does that say about the Jets? If they had Aaron Rodgers in their lineup, they'd be 6-0. Dalvin Cook looks old. He hasn't looked the same way. Maybe because he didn't have a preseason. Maybe because he was sitting out waiting for somebody to sign him. But he's not the same player he was with Minnesota. That pass to Conklin and Lazard, when he was looking all over the field and he wasn't looking at one player, he was using the field, that showed me that he's growing. It's showing me that he's starting to see the field. The problem is, when he reads his reads, is he making the right throw to the right player? Is he forcing the ball in spots that he shouldn't be forcing the ball? He didn't do it against Kansas City. He did it more against the Broncos because he thought that he could do it against the Broncos. But when you're playing a guy like Patrick Surtain, top 4 corner in the league, you're going to put yourself in harm's way. And he did, even though it didn't hurt him. Thank you to Quincy Williams, who, by the way, is one of the best linebackers in the league this year. The Jets gave him a 3-year deal, and the kid has been all over the place. He was unbelievable against Kansas City, and now against the Broncos. This is back-to-back weeks. He's been one of the most dominant players for the New York Jets defense. And C.J. Mosley was a second-team All-Pro player. He's a first-team All-Pro player this year. He is everywhere on this defense. That contract that the Jets gave C.J. Mosley, where everybody was questioning it, has been a very good one. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones suffers a neck injury during the fourth quarter versus the Dolphins. If I were Daniel Jones, I wouldn't want to be out there. I would milk this and never step on the field for the rest of the season because this guy is getting killed. This offensive line has been absolutely putrid. They've given up 16 sacks in the last 2 weeks. Yep. It's been horrific. I don't want to hear from the Giant fans saying that Daniel Jones isn't the guy. How is he the guy when he only has 1.8 seconds to throw the ball? The fastest release in the NFL, one of the guys is Dak Prescott. His release, 2.2 seconds. Dak Prescott couldn't release the ball in 1.8 seconds. No quarterback can. Evan Neal, you have been despicable. You can't play guard. You can't play tackle. You couldn't even in Oscar Wiener on the sidelines right. He absolutely stinks. He looks like Flowers.
He looks worse. Flowers was good his first 2 years.
He looks putrid. That draft has been horrific. Thibodeau is not the guy. Everybody thought that this guy was going to bring them a pass rusher. He was another Justin Tuck or a Michael Strahan. He is nowhere close to any of those guys. His head is so far up his own ass, he should be spitting out the pencils that he's writing in that book on the sidelines. He's probably saying, tick-tock, I'm going to stop, and I suck. Everything that Joe Schoen decided to do in the offseason, he looks even more dumb. Saquon Barkley, since he is not in this offense has been nothing. Garbage. The Miami Dolphins made them look like paperweights. And now all the Giant fans are saying, we need a quarterback. You're not getting a quarterback next year because Daniel Jones still has another year, and then they can opt out. I don't know why you wouldn't want to opt out of this guy. This guy stands in the pocket and takes a beating. That is a tough quarterback. Any other quarterback like Zach Wilson would probably be running backwards. If I was Daniel Jones, I would not want to step on that football field anymore this season. I would milk this and say, oh, my neck is hurting me. I think I teared a ligament in my neck, and I'm going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks. I do not want to deal with the crap that I'm going to be dealing with week in and week out. I give it to Tyrod Taylor. He's still making pretty good money as a backup quarterback. Let him get the beating.